Hello chess friends, welcome to a new video. Today we're going to talk about a very nice variation. We will be analyzing here Scandinavian Defense. I have been playing Scandinavian very often in last years and I've been getting some nice results as black. So I don't have to say this is one of my favorite defenses. So we have Scandinavian after e4 and d5. The positions you will get when you play this are very interesting, are dynamic, and also something very good is that your pawn structure is going to be in general fine without weaknesses. So if you want to play something different, something out of the regular variations, you know, Lopez, Italian, something that your opponent is probably not so used to see, well, Scandinavian is a nice variation. You're just playing some chess with some dynamic defense, so this is probably okay. Also, I want to say that for professional players, in general, they don't use it as a main defense. They just use it as a surprise from time to time, once in a tournament or things like that. But for club players or even for beginners, this is something that if you like it, if you understand the ideas, you can play it much more often, I think. So to understand the ideas with the Scandinavian, to see what could happen in the middle game, I have a game I played some years ago in a tournament. So let's see what happened. I was facing a lower rated opponent, like 100 points under my rating. That's the general idea when I use this defense, is against lower rated opponents where I need to win probably because of the situation of the tournament, and that's when I play it more often. But also I've been using it against players with my rating or even higher, very rarely, but I've done that, as I said, as a surprise, and it has been working really fine. So let's see what happened here in this game. My opponent took on d5, I took queen takes, and then knight c3. And in this position, there are some lines. If you're a Scandinavian player, you can use here queen d6, which is fine. Also queen d8 and queen a5. There is some variation here with queen e5, which is not very strong, but probably for some bullet or some blitz is going to be fine. About queen d6 is the most popular move, I think, in these days, but I could say queen a5 is the most classical variation when we play Scandinavian. Also queen d8 is playable, but you don't get too much, but you're still fine. Probably white is going to be a little better, but nothing too much. So queen a5 is the move I played here, and then d4, knight f6, knight f3, and then c6. This move is very typical in this variation where you put the queen on a5 because you want the queen to come back probably to c7 or d8. So this is very common in this variation. Also the pawn on c6 is controlling the knight, so there won't be some move like this threatening your queen. So this is very well in this line. So bishop d3, bishop g4, h3, bishop h5, white castles, knight d7, then rook e1 and e6, a3, bishop d6, and rook b1, queen c7, queen e2, and then I just castle here. Well, we need to say that white didn't play very accurately in the opening. They made some probably not so strong moves. So I was really fine here after we finished the opening. I got a very nice position in the middle game. We are in a more or less balanced position here. So this is exactly what I was looking for. Just get out of the opening with a nice position, and then in mid again and endgame try to get some advantage here. So he plays g4, bishop g6, bishop takes, h takes, and then knight e5. I played here knight d5, and also this is an interesting move. This is something we need to remember. It's very typical in Scandinavian to use this square for our knight. In general, the pawn on e4 is not going to be, or not in general, the pawn won't be on e4, so that's why this square is very often very well for black. So knight d1, and then this interesting move as black b5. The idea is to make sure that our knight is going to be fine and no one will be able to kick out our knight from that square, because now c4 is controlled by b5. So the knight is a great piece here for black. So f4, we could say it's interesting because now it's protecting a lot the knight on e4, on e5. The problem with f4 is that now the king is very open. Remember, white played g4 some moves before, and also h3. So there can be some problems with this king so open. Notice that white also has some development problems over here. So the position is a little risky here for white. I just traded on e5, and after d takes, then bishop c5, king g2, and then rook d8. There is an open file here, so I'm just trying to get it. And again, the development problems here are really bad for white. They cannot fight for the open file right now. So knight f2, and I just took the knight on f2. This is an interesting move. In general, we are going to keep our bishops. We don't want to trade a bishop in a position like this for a knight. But actually this is very interesting because this knight is coming over e4, controlling many squares on the board. So it's going to be a good knight in the next move. And also something very important is that after this simplification, I will keep this knight, this strong knight, and white will have this probably we could say a bad bishop. So the minor pieces are still very well for me. So I liked the idea of this trade in this position. Also, the problem with the open file is very important here because I am controlling it, and besides, the king is open and there could be some ideas over the ranks attacking the king. So c5, bishop e3, queen c6 with some discovered ideas over here, king g1, and then another nice, I could say nice trade here on e3. The idea is that after the trade we continue controlling the open file. That is going to be the main strategical concept here after the trade, and we are controlling that file, so we are going to be very well here after the simplification one more time. So I thought it was fine to try to exploit the open file with this trade. So rook d4, and white plays here rook d3 to try to avoid my control of the d file. The problem is that after the trade white will have a backward pawn here on the d file. It's going to be very easy for me to attack that pawn. Rook d8, queen e3, and then rook d4, preparing queen d5 in the next move, attacking very strongly here on d3. White plays rook c3, and the next move for white, the next move for black here is going to be this interesting one, c4, making sure we are opening the file. And one more time, the problem with the king so open is going to be very bad for white. So in this position, white just takes on c4, I retake, but this position is very sad for white now because as the king is so weak, it is going to be very complicated. Queen f3 was played here, and then rook d1, king f2, rook d2. White plays here king g3, then I just captured some pawn, queen e3. Something interesting here is that after the trade I am very well because I'm threatening rook b3. If he trades, my pawn promotes. If he doesn't trade, I'm getting a3, so I'm going to be very well in the endgame. So that's why white didn't trade here. He plays queen e3. So here we have rook g2, king h4, and in this position black is winning. So if you want, you can pause the video and try to find the last sequence of this game just winning. I will say it in the next seconds. The move I played here was queen d8, just forcing white to play g5, and then queen d1, and this is just winning the game. Black is threatening queen h5 with mate, and if white plays something like queen f3, then we can play queen e1, and this is winning. Maybe queen e3, but then rook takes, and white is completely lost. So this is the video I wanted to show you today. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you think the video and the content were good, give me some like. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and see you in the next.